Hey guys, I'm Collin from Gamenetics, and if you're watching this and you have a controller with stick drift in your hands, much like this one, don't worry, we got you covered. I'm going to show you a few ways that you could potentially fix that stick drift in your PS5 controller. There's a few really simple tricks we can try before actually taking the controller apart, but first, let's diagnose the issue and see how bad that drift really is. So what you're going to need is a USB-C cable like this. Plug it into your controller, plug that into your computer and go to gamepadtester.com. This shows a visual representation of whatever could be wrong with your controller. We use it every day here at Gamenetics and we trust it. So as you can see, yep, this right analog stick here is jittering up and to the right a little bit. This is probably a simple fix where there could be hair or debris caught underneath the analog stick, but in a different case, if it was an extreme stick drift where it's all the way up and to the right, that could be a bigger problem and you'd have to fully take apart the controller to clean it from the inside out. So let's get into it. So this is the easiest method to try out first. Super simple. All you gotta do, pop up both analog sticks till you hear that click, and give them a few rotations, counterclockwise and clockwise. This will loosen up anything that could be stuck underneath the analog stick. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel them rubbing against the front shell. Then, pop them both down, you'll hear that click. Give them a few clicks actually. Do a couple more rotations. Now, plug it back into Gamepad Tester and see if you fixed it. If you didn't, move on to the next one. So this next quick method can be done two ways, either with a can of air duster or a straw and a pair of lungs. So take your air duster or your straw, bring the tip of it down to your analog stick, pull the stick to the side, and blow it right in the edge to loosen up anything that could be underneath the analog stick. Do that to both of them. When doing this, make sure to keep your can upright because this will blow out liquid and you don't want that. Now that you've done that, plug it back in your computer like before, go to Gamepad Tester and try it out, see if that fixed it. If you're seeing improvements after trying those two methods, that's a good sign that you're on your way to fixing your stick drift. You can always repeat those until your controller is fully fixed. If that doesn't work, we have one more method for you. So for this one, you're gonna have to open up the controller, but don't get intimidated. It's a lot easier than you think. But you're gonna need a couple tools first. Grab yourself either a drill or a screwdriver with a tiny Phillips head bit. A pair of needle nose pliers, and a pry tool like this, or a butter knife. I feel like everybody has a butter knife. All right, so let's open this thing up. Take your pry tool, pop it in that crack right there, pop up the side of the trim piece, and then same as on the other side. Now once you got those two up, set it down flat. You can just grab and pull. Promise you won't break it. Now take your pry tool, hold down your trigger, take the pry tool and put it right under the bumper. Make sure to keep your finger lightly on top of the bumper, otherwise it could launch off. Pop it up just like that. And same with the other one. Now that we've done that, grab your screwdriver or drill. You'll have 4 screws. You have one there, one there, one there, and one there. You want to remove those. Now, hold your controller sideways, put your thumb here, other thumb here. Pull apart the controller. Put your finger right in that crack just to hold it open. Take your pry tool, and there's 2 tabs right here. Put your pry tool under the tab and pop like that. You'll hear a pop noise. And now you can pull it apart on both sides. Pop that back shell off. Now, remove the battery, like so. There's a little cable here. You can just pull on that. Battery comes out. You have a microphone here. Just pull that out. And then you have 3 more ribbon cables here that I use needle nose pliers to remove. Be very gentle with these because they can tear. Pop it out like that. Like that, so that they're free. And there's one last one right here is a microphone. Now we have one screw here, remove that. This removes our battery plate, revealing one more ribbon cable. Grab a hold of that and pull straight up, gently, just like that. Now you can press on your analog sticks and pop that right up. That'll lay down flat. Now there's these two screws, one right here and one right there. Remove those two screws. There's one. There's two. Now that you've done that, you can grab a hold of the rumble packs down here, press on the front shell and pop that right up, just like that. Here's your front shell with all your buttons and touchpad. You can set that aside. Now you have your analogs, and this is what we're trying to get to. Take these, pop your analog sticks off. This third and final method is pretty much like the second method, except you actually have the controller fully open and you're exposing these analog cubes. So take your straw or take your air duster, bring the tip down, and just give both of these analog cubes a good cleaning. All right, now let's put it back together. So what you're gonna do here is take that, put that back into the front shell just like that. Grab your screws, put in the left one, put in the right one. Once you have those two screws in, you can put your analog sticks back on the cubes, pop those on. Make sure that speaker's in there. You can pull the ribbon cables back, pop that motherboard in. Yep, now make sure that top ribbon cable is good. Now plug those ribbon cables back in. I use needle nose pliers just because it's easier. Plug that microphone back in. Put the battery plate back on. Put that screw in. Make sure that microphone is where it should be. And there's one last microphone. Pop that in. Plug your battery back in. Throw on the back shell like so until it clicks. Make sure those tabs in the bottom middle front are latched. And you can just throw those 4 screws back in just like this. Once those are screwed in, grab your trim piece, feed the top 2 pieces of the trim piece in and then pop just like that. Make sure it's all latched together. Take your bumpers, line those up. It's a little tricky. Press down on those hard and they'll pop in. This one wasn't lining up properly, but once you get it, pop it right in. All right, now that those are clean, plug it back into the gamepad tester and see if you fixed it. So fixing stick drift is a lot of trial and error, and even after opening it up and cleaning it like we just did, sometimes that just doesn't fix it. And sometimes you just have to realize your analog stick's old and worn and they can't work forever. Actually, the average analog stick only lasts 2 million joystick cycles. And when you come to think of it, after playing a full game of Call of Duty, 2 million's not that much. You can always buy new analog cubes online and replace them yourself, but you'll need a soldering iron, the skills to use that, and you'll have to wait for it to ship. In reality, not really worth it. But if you want us to make a tutorial on it, we'd love to make one. Well, I hope we helped you fix your stick drift. Drop a like if you did. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them in the comments and we'll get back to you. And if you're sick of your plain stock controller, head on down to Gamenetics.com where you can fully customize your controller's color and add mods like mouse click triggers and back buttons.